What's up, weird war weirdos? It is Brian again. It's been a while since we've done some painting. Paint. It's time for me to get some painting done. So that's what I'm doing here. Get some painting done, hopefully. So I pretty much gave up sodas, right? So I've been drinking these like little. They're just like carbonated like water with like some flavoring in it. It's like zero everything on here. Zero except of course sodium, 10 milligrams, which is not, and potassium, a shit ton of potassium. Jesus. Potassium 380 milligrams for the bottle. I only drink one of these a day, if that, maybe one every other day or so. So yeah, just trying to do the water thing. Since I figured that's what we needed to survive, might as well take advantage of that shit, right? Shit. All right, guys. So I am dedicated to finishing. So we haven't. Me and Mel are going to finish up that weird World War II Halloween game tomorrow. So you guys will get a battle report here probably tomorrow. I'm going to be running at it. I'm trying to print something up right now on the printer, but I don't know if I have enough stuff left. So we'll find out. But yeah, I hope that doesn't fuck up my printer. If it runs out of resin, will it fuck up the printer? Hope not. I'll keep my eye on it. But I ordered some more ink, not ink, more resin. So that should be. What the fuck did that break off? So it should be pretty good. Should get that tomorrow, actually. Sounds pretty cool. So I've been on cults, right, for this week, and I looked up like whatever keyword or whatever, and I'm going through like 4.5 thousand fucking entries. Charles, what's up, dude? So I'm going through like all the STL stuff on cults, right? And there's bazillions and bazillions of stuff, right? So I'm in hog heaven, dude. I'm just I'm earmarking the stuff that costs something, so like later on I can go back and get it or whatever. But I find a lot of shit that I could use. I don't need it, but I could use it. It could be good for some weird World War II gaming. I found this one cool. I'll have to show it to you guys. I printed it up. It's like I don't know what it is, but they're like, like in World War II, they had those Japanese sent those like balloon bombs, right, to the States. They would like travel thermal currents to the North America and whatever. And well, check this out, guys. So this is like it's just like this bloated. Put the hand in front of here. See if I can. Yeah, it's just like a bloated dude, right? He almost looks like a giant tick. I wish it would focus. There we go. Oh, I had it. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, rule books. What's going on with the rule books there, Charles? Well, hell. It's not going to show it for some reason. There we go. So check it out. It's just like a dude. It's like ballooned up like a tick, right? And he's got all these chains wrapped around him. He's got like these weights or something on him. But I don't know what it is. Some sort of fantasy thing. But it's freaking awesome. So I'm thinking like instead of the Japanese sending like, balloons, they send in like these corrupted like maybe these guys are filled with like chemical gas or some sort of evil or some shit, but they're actually sending some sort of creature. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, it does. It does look like, hey, Chuck, it does kind of look like Harkonnen. Might be what it's taken from, but it looks like a giant tick, like a human tick. But I thought that was really cool. I think that I definitely use this in my weird war. It looks Japanese. Like, hell, that could even be Chinese, to be honest with you. Because it's got like these like little lights, those little lanterns or something. Kind of like it's Oriental looking. Because there's a pitch. Somebody drew a painting or something of it, right? Well, this is the kicker, guys. So like, you know, my first bottle of resin was the kind of the water soluble kind, right? So it's real brittle, right? So like this one, I had two of them. One of them like broke, but I don't know if that's gonna. I'm gonna have to reprint them, I think, because they're just so brittle. Mentions overruns twice, but not what the result is. Oh hell, I'm telling you, dude. Okay, so let me tell you about rules, guys. I don't think they play test rules like they should nowadays, because back in the day, you know, if you didn't have a complete rule system, you didn't have this like FAQs and these updates every 2 weeks for some fuck up in your rules, man. The writers had to be with it, and they had to have. Oh man, that just broke. Dang it. They had to be with it, because if not, your rules ain't gonna sell. Nowadays, it's almost like people buy the rules half-assed. It's good enough. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people buy rules and they don't even play them. They might play them once, and that's it, which is fine. But I don't think they play test rules like they used to. How do you not give the results of an overrun? Are you doing what are the rules for? Like, are they like historical? Like Napoleonic, or musket, or hell, even anything really. It can be overrun in any rule system. Another bad thing nowadays is like table of contents. It seems a lot of times table of contents ain't worth a shit. You got to really search. And I tell you, one of the reasons why I think it's like that is because everybody has their shit on like devices, right? So instead of looking at a table of contents, they just plug in, like overrun rules, and it just, pulls up all the pages that says overrun or some shit. Oh, okay. So it's a World War II. Well, hell, that thing's screwed. So, well, this plane's not going to have an antenna. It's all right. It's scenery anyway. Yeah, the Soviets did a lot of overrunning in 45. That's for sure. So, okay. So I've been like hesitant on finishing these damn planes. But I got to do them because I want to play that mission. So what I'm going to do is I did everything in flat. So what I'm going to do a really, really light shadow. What's up, buddy? I'm going to do a really light wash, like a black wash on this, and just get some of that detail out of it. And then I'll probably put the decals on, and then I'm gonna silver it up. I'm gonna like dry brush silver into it, and then maybe do like another wash depending on how it looks. The one bad thing about washes on white, chili dogs. Oh hell yeah, dude! I haven't had a chili dog in years, dude. Uh-oh, I broke this camera's been acting wonky lately. It's like, enough, Brian. Cut the hair, hippie. Looking like a Hell's Angel here. But yeah, the one bad thing about washes on white, they can really turn to shit. Now I use this craft paint. This craft paint probably isn't the best paint to use in a wash, but I don't think I have anything else. I don't have any like black. Maybe I could do like a gunmetal. What do you think? A gunmetal might work? Enemy unit can enter hex with a solitary HQ, and then, well, shit. Sounds like they didn't finish that sentence, huh? It got. Is there a picture underneath it, or like a page cut off, or maybe like a row cut off? That happens a lot. I've seen it in a lot of the PDF kind of rule books. It looks like maybe the picture, like they have a picture kind of overwrote the rest of the sentence or some shit. You know, they didn't catch it. Here's a black. It's the same shit though. I got a black apple barrel, and then a Anita's. What do you think would be a better wash? No, yeah, it sounds like. And that's another thing, man. It's like, shit. I wrote my rule book, and I'll go back every once in a while, and I'll just reread it and stuff. And I'm like, man, how did I fucking miss that? I mean, it's like it's all spelling errors or some shit. But it's like, how did I miss that? But yeah, but I don't know. But I mean, if you're producing a product, you want that shit to be finished. And I've seen that I see that in a lot of modern role playing games, like their books and stuff. A lot of them. And I'm just like, what is going on, man? Don't you guys have, especially with computers nowadays, you would think there would be like, these programs that would help like with the oversight of certain shit. But hell, I don't know. I think it's speed, mass, I don't fucking know. Back in the day, I don't know. I keep saying back in the day. Hell, it's probably the same. Those guys are churning out micro armor books and the Playonic fucking books as soon as they can. Let's see here. I'll do a big. But yeah. The only rule books, I mean, I love to play games, right? Because since I wrote my own rules, I like to play different games to get ideas, right? Because there might be cool rule mechanics I never thought of. And because I'm playing my own thing, I can just introduce those rules to the game if I think they're cool. You know what I mean? So it's not a big deal if, I'm like, hey, that's a cool mechanic. I'm going to just put that in my fucking system. And there you go. You got a brand new gaming system, or you got a new mechanic in your system. So let's see how this is going to work. This might work. Doing big, long strokes. That looks pretty good. So besides doing rules, you got anything else going on? You doing any crafting? Oh yeah. Yeah. So you're playing like a hex encounter? Usually when those HQs are defunct, those units are pretty much they're pretty hard pressed to do anything. I don't play much historical hex encounters anymore. Remember that was a lot of the only thing back in the day, especially World War II. You had micro armor, but besides that, didn't have you didn't really have any squad level skirmish combat either, especially with minis. It was pretty rare. Lots of hex encounter game, Avalon Hill and what GHQ and all those, which I enjoy. I enjoy a good hex encounter. When you don't want to pull out the terrain and fiddle with all the minis. I love minis though, so I'm a big mini guy. But it's nice to just throw down a battle without having to, lug around a huge contingent of whatever. That looks pretty good. Huh. And they ain't too shabby. Going to be Zenithal. Everybody talks about the Zenithal. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's so funny, guys, because I hang out with a lot of different, I hang out with like the role players. I hang out with the miniature war gamers. I hang out with just the painter guys. And everybody talks about this Zenithal stuff. and it's just like a white, right? It's just like a white, like a base coat white. I just I've never used it, but you know what? It's so weird because it's like, you know, you kind of fall in that kind of tradition of how you've always done it. Because you know, you guys talk about, you know, the speed paints and all that stuff, and I'm sure they're fantastic. But I it just seems like so foreign to me. It's just it's almost like I'm reluctant to even try it because it's like yeah, might as well just do it my way and just get that whatever that thing is I was going to try it with painted the way I wanted to paint it instead of like trying it out. I don't know. Change bad. I'm an old grownard, I guess. An old grownard. Not one of those guys. So what are you going to be priming, Shadow? The Dungeons and Lasers, or not Dungeons and Lasers? What's that game you always talk about? I just went blank. So what I'm painting, guys, these are Nate fighters. These were kind of like not well, I think they might have been exclusive to the no, they weren't exclusive, but they were used mostly with the Japanese Army Air Corps. So, but I think the Navy used them too. I don't know, maybe not. I think they might be Army, like dedicated Army craft. Yeah, these look pretty good. I was worried about doing a wash. That was, I haven't done an airplane in like forever. So I'm like, how do I paint this thing? I was like, shit, I forgot how to paint a fucking airplane. It's a little different. You know, I'm used to like armor. You know, you can get away with a lot with an armor kit because you know it's all you can dirty it up. You know, if you messed up something, you know, in the you know, constructing it, you can get away with it because you know it's armor. You know, armor's all jacked up and messed up, so it doesn't really matter. But what's up, bud? Shadows of Brimstone. That's it. You need to do a battle report of that thing, dude. Because I mean, you talk about it all the time. You should get those boys. I mean, hell, you are feeding them, right? And you are like clothing them, and it's like it's time to pay the price, boys. It's time for a battle report. So sit down, shut up, and enjoy yourself. I mean, you have like a captive audience right there, or a captive gaming audience, or gaming participants. Yeah, Matt, I saw that you bought some Warlord Japs. Oh, getting into the Japanese. Yeah, but shit, that's all I've been painting for a year or two is Japanese and Chinese. That's true. Hey, you can't beat fast. Well, you know, it's not good for you, but it tastes good for the most part. You're a big like Mexican food guy, but you're more of like Americanized Mexican, right? You're not American food. You're not like traditional Mexican food. Like Americanized Mexican, right? You're not American food. You're not like traditional Mexican food. Like I've said before, traditional Mexican food is really bland for me. So I don't. I usually like kind of like the Americanized Tex-Mex kind of flavor better. Chicken enchiladas. Yeah, enchiladas and nachos, tacos. I think is kind of your speed, right? I think that's what I hear you mostly devouring. That's some good shit, though. Hey, I like that stuff too. It's delish. It's delish. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna try to do this at least weekly. Little painting. Do an hour or so. Because man, when we were doing your challenge, Mutt, I was getting a lot of shit done. But to be fair, I've been like going printing crazy. So, Mutt, you need to get a printer, dude. You talk about first of all, you're gonna save a shit ton of money. You're gonna because you won't be buying like physical minis. You'll just be buying like resin and you'll be buying resin and like STLs or some shit. But man, I'm telling you, dude, you could probably buy like if I know you've been getting into kind of ancient block armies and like horde army stuff. And shit, man, you could probably for like $10 you could get like 6 different like STLs for Romans or whatever you're doing, and then just print that shit 100 times, and then booyah, for $6 you have 200 freaking minis. I'm telling you, it's amazing. The true golden age of wargaming. And like I said, I've been on cults this whole week, man. And I just been, man, there's so much stuff there. And you'll be surprised how much of it is free or very, very little money. If it is, some of them are crazy. Some guys are charging like GW prices for some bullshit STL. I'm like, no, I'm fucking nuts. Or like they'll justify, oh, this is a 135 scale. Well, I don't give a shit. I can just size it up or down. I'm not going to pay for the scale size that you created it in. An STL is an STL. But yeah, man. I mean, you can like if you want to get into like Flames of War or something, you can just get let's say you're in you're playing bolt action, so you got a bunch of like World War II vehicle STLs, right? And then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna try my hand in Flames of War or some other 15 mil or hell 20 mil or 25 or 10 or whatever. Dude, you just size all those STLs down to or up to whatever scale that you want. It's freaking amazing. And listen, if I can do it, guys, you can do it. Because I am no spring chicken in the brain. Yeah, but I mean, oh hell, your printer won't break. But just let's say even if it does break, right? These printers are getting cheaper and cheaper like every year. Like you can just get like last year's. So like, I was talking to Bo last night. We were talking on the phone, and he was talking about like the resolution of these printers now are like a bazillion. It's like it's a resolution. It's like the resolution on the digital TVs now. It's like your eye. If I remember correctly, your eyeball can only produce can only see a certain resolution, right? Before it doesn't pick it up. So I think that we're at that. We're at the level of resolution that the eye doesn't even notice it. And it's getting that way with these 3D printers. I mean, you don't have to buy the brand new whiz bang, you can just get like a couple year old model and it's just as good as the shit they got now for the most part. I know, dude. Bo was telling me that like you did that little introduction video to him and he got this big bump. Thanks, man, for doing that. Bo's a great guy. You guys should, everybody here, HS, what's up, man? Printing, man, I truly prefer. I'm an old school guy too, but when it comes down to the point where like money and time, it's like I never have enough money to get what I want, right? And the time, I mean, I have the time to push a button or two and walk away for a couple hours and come back, spend 20-30 minutes cleaning everything up, and then putting them out to dry and boom, it's just like, but no, I agree. I mean, I enjoy, the artistic value of, sculpted and the style, but they have that now too. It's like these guys who are making these STLs, they have a certain, some of them have a certain style, and it comes out in their sculpting. But a lot of them, just kind of use, I don't know, programs that have pre-installed kind of whatever, and they all kind of look the same. But shit, it's like going out to a Chinese buffet, right? It might have a different name on it, but they're all supplied by the same food, distributor. So it's almost like you're eating the same shit. Oh yeah, Ollie stuff. Oh, I hear you got that. You need to print that shit. You need to get that stuff not printed, but like cast, man. You're doing the world a disservice to having armies of Ollie and Jackson in some deep, dank, frozen basement in the middle of nowhere. You need to let those puppies breathe and live. Get those things. Do a crowdfunder if you don't have the money to like print them, dude. I mean, I guarantee I'll send you. Go to Knuckle Duster. Forrest Harris, he has his own. He does Knuckle Duster. He does printing. He'd probably hook you up with a good deal. He used to be my caster. It's true. I mean, the pewter tin mix. I mean, again, because it's a commodity. It's a commodity. It might range in price, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you expect these things to sell like crazy, I mean, they might be costly, but I mean, if it's a small production run and you're not going crazy, like you're selling GW level kind of shit, you should be fine. Well, that's paid store. Oh, okay, guys, you got that. Fairbanks, Alaska. If any storage unit goes out of, runs out of money, what are those auction? Dude, those are so heartbreaking. Those like storage wars, is that what it's called? It's like where people's like storage payment gets whatever and gets foreclosed on. They haven't paid it, and it gets, and then they auction off the storage unit to people. That's heartbreaking, man. I can't watch that shit because most of the time there's nothing in there, but there's like, there's pictures, like family pictures, and there might be heirlooms, and it's sad to see that happen. Knuckle Duster, Forrest Harris, great guy. He's an American. He does the Knuckle Duster line of like Old West stuff. He's a great guy, man. Just reach out to him, say, hey, I heard you cast. Do you still serve, offer that? And just talk to the guy. Really personable, really down to earth dude. He's one of us. He's an old timer. So. Oh, someone stole your mini Warmut name on Rumble. Bastards. Put Mini the Warmut or put the Mini Warmut or some shit like an abbreviation like that. Or Brian the Mutt. Brian the Warmut or some shit. We'll know what that means. We'll know that's you opposed to somebody else. I got 40-year-old virgin value of minis in storage. Oh yeah. Oh, Candy, I didn't know that. Do you know him? Forrest? I didn't know he played fiddle. I know he's a big like Americana kind of guy, and he's a big into what Shadow. Go check him out, dude. I think you've heard of Knuckle Duster. It's like Old West stuff. If not 35s, they're bigger. But beautiful range of minis, man. Fantastic stuff. Oh, Zombie Smith. Yeah, Zombie Smith, yeah. It's funny because when Zombie Smith first came around, when they first started their company, that's when I started my company. And we had the same sculptor, Aaron Brown from Black Crab Studios. He's down in New Zealand. But Zombie Smith, Aaron just finished Zombie Smith's like huge line of zombies, right? And then Aaron would do like a handful of my stuff. And then right after my stuff, he started to sculpt the core. That's kind of like Zombie Smith's kind of like, like bird looking people. like bird, the quar or whatever it's called. He did that stuff. It's pretty cool. All right, on the quar. Yeah, reminds me of like kind of like the those, what were they called, the X skis or sex skis or the dark crystal bad guys. They kind of look like those. They kind of look like bird faces, but they're not. They're like kind of big and rotundant, and they're pretty cool. Skek skis, that's it. Skeksis, skek, sex, skek. I can't say that word, but yeah, that one. Man, I watched that movie as a kid when that little critter guy got like whammied and like his face got sucked in and became a zombie. Oh my god, I was freaking out. That scarred me for months after seeing that. I'm like, oh, that little dude just got soul sucked by that bird thing. Ugh. The Netflix movie TV show wasn't bad. I thought they did a pretty good job on it. Cinematic, what's up, dude? Oh, you guys, if you guys haven't seen Cinematic Tabletop, man, he does some excellent battle reports. They're fantastic. Yeah, the prequels. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I just saw, I was dumbfounded that this was even coming out. They're making another Ghostbuster movie. I'm like, I mean, as much as the lip service, kind of like the fan service they did in the last one, I don't think it saved that movie. And they have a whole new one that has the guy from Ant-Man and that weird looking kid, whatever. So it's just like, talk about beating a dead horse. I don't know. It's just like the girl one was atrocious. The first one's fantastic. Even the second one was pretty good. It wasn't the first one, but I don't know. It's funny, with how was it? Ivan Reitman. I've been watching SCTV. I found like the full series on YouTube. I've been watching that, and I used to, I was a big John Candy fan, and oh shit, what's his name? Was it Jonathan? Oh hell, I can't remember his name. But they had some really good, like they had some pretty funny characters. Bill and Doug and Bob and Doug McKenzie. That's pretty funny. But it's pretty hit or miss, to be honest with you. But it's fun. I love it. They had this whole episode of ethnic jokes. Oh my god, I couldn't. That would be like in today's Canada, that would like get you canceled and like totally banned, and it was so funny. It was like Lithuanians and like gypsies or some shit. It was funny. Take off. That's it. Take off, Ozer. It's so funny because, in entertainment, right? There hasn't really been a big like movie with like war gamers. Like every once in a while you'll see like, I want to say there was a scene, like you said, 40-year-old virgin. He paints, armament. I remember Groundhog Day. There was a scene where he was saying, "This is Billy. He's gay, and he likes to play little army men, or he likes to paint little army men." And he's like, "I do," just kind of like real quick, just kind of off the cuff kind of thing. But there's never been like a real like. Well, there's also in Living Daylights. I remember the main bad guy in that. He had like a big like. He had a big Gettysburg like diorama or whatever with minis and shit. But it's very, you don't really see like the culture, like the main character is a war gamer. He's at a convention or some shit, and they show a scene of him gaming or something. I've never really seen that. I don't think. Oh yeah, Strange Brew was epic, dude. It was fantastic. That was a movie that was on like cable all the time. It was like Beastmaster, Strange Brew, Cast a Deadly, no, not Cast a Deadly Spell. That one with the ghosts, Daryl Hannah, and they're in England. I can't remember. High Spirits. And then what else? There's that other one where the guy from Night Court, and the guy from Bosom Buddies, not Bosom Buddies. I can't remember, but yeah, there was they kept playing these like dozen movies over and over and over. Oh yeah, cable back in the day. Woo, man. It was funny. There's a funny story about cable in my life. So my dad worked for the government, right? So like he would go on a business trip like every month. Like he worked for the Army Corps of Engineers. He was like one of the chiefs. And he would go to the Pentagon and he'd go to all these different places or whatever, like once a month. And so he'd be gone for like a week. And one year, it was like 80 something. And one year we were begging him, like, Dad, we got to get cable. You know, the Smiths down the street, God, it's amazing. He's like, I'm not paying for TV. Are you crazy? You got 12 channels to watch right there. It's all free. Right. And we're like, no, whatever. So my dad goes out of town. And my mom was awesome. She's like, you know, she was a psychiatric RN her whole life. So, you know, she made pretty good money. She ran the psychiatric hospital for a long time. But anyway, so she had money. And she's like, well, I'm going to buy the kids cable. So one day I remember I came home from school. It was a Friday. I came home from school. I walked home from school. I walk into my sisters are watching TV, right? And I believe it was Planet P's. Was it? Must have been 1,000 other guys. Must be some other way to look. I can't remember the song, but that Planet P was playing on TV. I'm like, what are you watching? We're watching MTV. I'm like, what? Yeah, Mom bought cable. I'm like, yes. So we watched MTV all afternoon, and then my dad came home that day. And then I was watching Fraggle Rock. And then right after Fraggle Rock, it was like, you know, 7 or 8 or whatever, prime time. And my first movie ever on cable was Conan the Barbarian. I was just like, oh, it's a whole new world. It was epic. Your daughter's watching Insidious? The Red Door. Yeah, we watched, me and Mel, what did we watch? We watched the Book of Monsters. It was crap. We watched Smile. That was okay. But we watched something else. We watched a lot of movies. Dude, we watched so much shit. I don't remember the titles of stuff. I just like, oh yeah, it's that movie where the guy did this and it did that, and that's how I fucking remember. It's just you have access to so much now that I forget the titles. Like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. I don't remember what it was called though. Excalibur, hell yeah, I remember that on cable. Oh yeah, Helen Mirren. Yeah, she's naked in a lot of stuff. But no, I'm thinking of Rambo or Rambo, yeah, Rambo, whatever. The chick from The Night Porter, and she's always naked in the shit. Yeah, Helen Mirren's hot. I remember Helen Mirren in Caligula. That was a surprise movie. But you know, it's funny because before we had MTV, right? They had, remember, I don't know if in America we had this show called Night Flight, and I think it was on TBS, and it was a cable channel. But if you were like, I think TBS is up in Chicago, so if you were in that area, you got it. It was called Night Flight. It was basically like an MTV, but it would play like on Saturday or Friday or Saturday night or something like that, just for a few hours, and then that was it. But yeah, MTV back in the day was the shit. But all it was videos. That's it. There wasn't any dumb celebrity, you know, whatevers, and reality and all that crap. It was just videos. That's why we wanted to watch a damn thing. Yeah, I enjoyed Night Flight. It was cool. Remember, but it always came on like it was. Like I said, it was on a Friday. I think it was a Saturday night. But I was always doing something. I mean, even as a kid, I was like, spending the night at a friend's house, or we were, at putt putt, or doing whatever kids do on the weekend. So I always missed it for some reason. Bob's Friday Night Trailer Park. That sounds familiar, dude. I don't remember. Is that the one where he just shows like movie trailers? Oh yeah, the Church of Subgenius. Hell yeah, dude. And the Spaghetti Monster, or whatever it is. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Hail Bob. I remember that. It's like he's smoking a pipe, that dude, or what. Oh, dude, that's been a long time since I even thought about that shit. I mean, I remember also Dr. Demento's show. That was a syndicated radio show all over, and I want to say that was Friday night or something. Shit, I used to watch Dr. Demento like crazy. It was cool because in Texas we had I guess in Texas, in the area that I lived in Dallas Fort Worth area, they were like the first, PBS and getting like British comedy and shit. It all started in the Dallas area, right? All that phenomenon. So like I had access to like a lot of cool like British comedy, and they always have it on the weekends, like Benny Hill show, and it was like Flying Circus and the Young Ones, and and then there was like shit like You're Being Served, shit like that. Well, Only Fools and Horses or whatever. But oh man, that was a blast. We love British comedy. Some of it was kind of, aged, even when we started watching it. Nerd, what's up, girl? Oh, B budget. Oh, dude, I remember watching, Joe Bob and Elvira. I remember Saturday nights were like, first was Friday the 13th, the series came on, right? Or no. First was War of the Worlds TV show. And then it was Friday the 13th TV show. And then it was Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And then I think after her, I went over to like, it was either TBS or it was the movie channel where Joe Bob was doing his drive-in theater. So Saturday nights were like epic. Awesome shit. Dr. D was a Sunday. I remember it was on the weekend. I couldn't remember what day it was. Fish heads. That's it, dude. Sweet. Oh yeah. So when I was a kid, I watched a lot of shit, man. Probably a lot of age inappropriate stuff, but Space 1999 is not that bad. There was that one episode, was it Space Dragons or Dragons or whatever it's called, where like people were getting, remember it was like a dragon in like the Eagles like cargo bay, and it would suck you in, eat you, and then spit out the bones. Oh my god, that's scary. That freaked me the hell out as a kid. I'm like, dude, so creepy. I love that show. Was it, they did a final show, like after like 20 years after it went out. I guess the fans like forked up enough money, and they got one of the primary characters. I think it's the doctor chick, and she kind of does kind of like a summary video that kind of closed the whole show. I don't remember. It's on YouTube because I watched it on YouTube. It's probably still on YouTube. So if you want to find like an ending, how 1999 ends, look for that on YouTube somewhere, because I've seen it. They also did that with the Dungeons and Dragons animated cartoon. They never ended it, but they did kind of one of those. It's not like a pure live action. It's like artwork that kind of wiggles. The old Jack Kirby, superhero ones like Captain America. He like it'd be Jack. It'd be the Jack Kirby artwork, but his arm only goes this far. It's kind of like that, but it kind of it sums up the end of the D&D cartoon. So that was pretty cool. Oh yeah, I think it's dragon. It's dragon something. It has the word dragon in it because I remember that one freaked the hell out of me as a kid. Yeah, it's a good one. Watch that one. Space Dragons or Dragons of the Mind or something. It's good. That one out of all of them, that's the one I remember the most was the dragon one because it was like a monster episode, so it was really good. They had some pretty good ones. Space 1999. Joe, what's up? Oh, the bunkers. Okay, so I'll show them to you. I got pants on tonight, so you guys lucked out. So this is just a coffee. This is a coffee can that I just made made as like a fuel, like a big fuel, blister or whatever, fuel depot thing. These are all Quinson huts right here. Various some are like two long, some are three, some are singles. These are those dust ones. And I put shutters on them. I just got some sheet styrene and I just glued them on like to make shutters so they look pretty cool. And I put because this is my Antarctic stuff, I put like little chimney, right there. And so I got a bunch of that stuff. So these, let me show you these. These are old. You guys remember if you guys are model builders, remember Verlinden? They used to make like 135 scale, kits or whatever. But these are actually porcelain bunkers, right? And what I did is this is kind of bent over the years. It's kind of, he needs a blue pill there. But this gun is from Epicast, I want to say. And what I did is I made these weird war defense bunkers. So I put like a Panther turret right there. And then I put some, whatever, they got a oven in there or something. But there's a door right there. So that's like my railgun one. And then this one's like a sonic weapon. It looks like remember Biggles back in time? Remember that weird sonic weapon in World War I that they were fighting against? It kind of reminded me of that. So again, this is from Epicast. And it's just, it's like some sort of sonic weapon, same thing. But, that's where you got these cool bits, man. You got, put these on here. So and again, these are like porcelain, just like cast bunkers, 135 scale bunkers. Yeah, Epicast. So back in the day, Epicast was one of the companies that was making third-party 40K stuff during second edition. I think they're the ones who made the Termite. They made the Baneblade and the Shadow Sword. They did drop pods. Anyway, they were like a resin thing. Now they do mostly terrain, like scenery, terrain. I think they also got some IP, I think they got Futurama. They're the ones who do the Futurama robots, I think. But yeah, I got one more. This one's like my command bunker. So again, this is like a 135 scale, plaster bunker. But this is like the command bunker. I put this is a dust radar dish. So this would be like the command bunker. So you can take the top off and whatever. But yep. It's got some I put antennas up there, just to indicate, it's like a command thing. It's got a door and shot trap and stuff. But yep. That was so funny. We were watching we were watching that Smile movie, right? I was telling you about. And there's a scene where like she goes in to go buy her like nephew like a train or something, and she's in a train shop. And we saw. Well, you guys can't see it. Let me see if I can show it to you. Sorry, the camera's starting to see that big long building right there. It's a train. It's a train depot. It's like an O scale train depot right there. That was in the movie. I'm like, dude, I have that building. That's awesome. So I'm like, you're. Oh, the old. I remember. I used to have that Hoth playset. It had like little bridge. And it had one of those like dome guns and shit. That was cool. I used to have that as a kid. Yeah, whenever if you're ever down in Texas during Millennium Con, I usually put on a big like Antarctic base game. It's like a forward like Nazi air base, and it's got all those Quinzen huts, and it's got like some like anti-aircraft walkers and all sorts of shit. And basically, it's like a U.S. like Marine Raiders go down there with Captain America, and they're trying to overrun this airbase so they can use it for an invasion by the Allies, so they can use the airbase to land reinforcements. So it's really an infantry base against like a bunch of Luftwaffe ground personnel and all that shit. So it's a really fun game. It's so funny because if you guys are familiar with Dust, there's one of those giant German mechs, like the biggest one, like the four-legged with those giant like anti-aircraft like 128s or 88 dual like quad 88s on it or whatever. I put that in the middle of the board, right? And I swear to God, that is like the American players always try to run directly to that thing every time. And the smart ones will run up to it and I'll give them bazooka, right? Run up to it and they'll just bazooka the damn thing. But you got those adventurous players that'll run up to it and they're like, yeah, we can use this for our advantage. But they have standing orders that they got to keep the air base intact as much as they can, right? Because the Allies are going to use these structures when the reinforcements come. So they don't want to blow it all to hell. They want this infrastructure to stay into play. But you always have those guys that are going to run up and try to man it and then use it against them. But they either get wasted or they blow it up because they realize they can't get it in time enough to because there's think about it. I always put it like there's a like the reactionary force is in a little hut next to it, the crew. So it's kept on, so it's warm and it's always ready to go and spur of the moment. And they don't think about that. There's a crew just sitting in this Quinzen hut right next to it. So like they might have. The minute they're found out, those guys run out and they start to man it. So it's a fun game, dude. It's a really, we use my battleground system. So you can sneak around, we play at night. I've got some of the Americans are dressed up like Germans. So like if they're confronted by sentries, they'll roll like a skill check to see if they're able to dupe the sentry into like letting them go or whatever. And that's pretty cool. It's funny because I find that like traditional wargamer guys that play 40K or bolt action or whatever, a lot of times they cannot think outside of the box in a war game because they're used to just like army fight each other, blah 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 blah. They don't think about sneaking around. They don't think about like crawling, setting up ambushes. Really, they don't think about that stuff. They just think about we're maneuvering toward the enemy just to kill them. But in these games, there's a lot to it to stay hidden, to do subterfuge and dupe the enemy into like convincing them that they were just out there having a smoke break. I give the Americans like some silenced pistols, like single shot, those commando pistols they had. So like if you're gonna use that bad boy, you better be close and you better be a good shot, or you're gonna, and then the minute fire starts, everybody starts piling out of this base to see what the hell's going on. It's a lot of fun. Dude, yes, the Christmas Village stuff. You know, back in the day, they seem to match a lot better to 28 than they do now. They seem they're getting smaller in scale than they used to be. Because I was at Walmart. I went to Walmart just last week, and they were selling a bunch of those trees. Those let me show you. Let's see. So I bought a bunch of Christmas trees, like winterized trees at Walmart. So if you guys need, like, if you guys are looking for Christmas, like the pine cone trees, like the pipe cleaner trees, these are all at Walmart now. These are nice. I think for like $8 you get like, I think you get like 10 of them of different sizes. There's like one of the big ones, and then a couple, like 10 of them of different sizes. There's like one of the big ones, and then a couple of these ones. Here, let me put a 28 up there for you guys to check out. We'll put Hungar up here. So, it's good size. That's that's the big tree. And then here's kind of like a smaller one. And they come, pre-flocked. They come with the bases, so you're pretty good to go. But yeah, I filled up a whole tote, so I got a shit ton of Christmas trees. I need to find some leafless trees, just like the no trees, so I can mix them up into this winter. I've got like fall trees. These, I like the pipe cleaner trees. Those are my favorite. So I got a whole basket full of the kind of the fall, when the trees start turning. And then I got like summer trees. They're all green and stuff. I try to play like historically accurate, like in the time of a battle. So like if it's during the winter, I try to play a winter, board. Yeah, on my Weird World War II channel, we're doing like a World War II, the whole conflict. And there's an ongoing, like, kind of like the world's, whatever's happening. So the well rod pistol, that's it. Oh yeah. It's funny. So in the town I live in, there's a huge, like, I think it's oh man, the train, the Southwest, I can't remember the damn train, like the Southwestern or Southeast or whatever. Big train yard here in town. It's massive, and there's a big museum here. But anyway, they always do like twice a year. They do a big train convention, and oh man, those are fantastic. So you can get a bunch of shit because, like, we're all a lot of us get kind of stuck into the whole war gaming, and we forget about the model industry, and we forget about the train industry that we can take from and use for our war gaming. So, yeah. So let's say if you play 28 mil, O scale is the scale that you want in trains, and 148 for your like model kits. And then if you play like 15s or to HO, I think HO is 15. So that's cool. And 15 would be about 172 scale in models. I think that's what it is. So 1937. Yeah, but yeah, I love going to a train show. Some of those guys, you look at these big, because they do the big setups, right? And you just drool, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could game on that table, because you just like, oh, that'd be a fantastic table to throw some dice on. Oh, HO is 187 table, because you just like, oh, that'd be a fantastic table to throw some dice on. Oh, HO is 187. Excuse me. What's the one set? I thought, is it S? What's S scale? Is that bigger or smaller than HO? Or is S the big scale? I can't remember what I can't remember. It's been a long time. I know O scale is the scale that I use for my wargaming. Oh, that's cool. We used to have the only hobby shops we have now around me are like like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. So it's pretty sparse when it comes to like anything cool. Most of it's like whatever. But it's not. We used to have one, but it vanished like so many other ones do. I go in there one week and it's gone. So no heads up. Yeah, O scale is what I use. Colonel Sanders, like the chicken guy. Oh, right on, dude. That's cool. I remember going on a in Colorado. There's like is it the Tarantula? I think there's a train, like an old train called the Tarantula. I think is what it's called. And it's like an old timey like Western train, and we went on that, and that was really cool. I found like an old train spike. I remember getting it and bringing it home with me for some reason. Like this is a real Western. This is a real old West train spike. Check it out. Just like my mom's like, "What are you doing? You get tetanus holding that thing." It's all rusted out. Good times. Good times. Yeah, but train shows are a lot of fun. I like seeing the old timers out, like got these old ancient dudes that have been doing this forever and they just love it to death. That's us, guys and gals. That's us. I used to do trains when I was a kid, but you got to have space to really like be a train collector. I mean, you got to have the space, and if you don't, you're not gonna be able to do too much because those things take up the space. I found so like right now I'm printing up. I found some cool like they're called death wheels, and it's just like a giant ball, almost looks like a ball tank, right? And it's got like spikes all over it. I'm like, oh yeah, secret weapon from some evil evil pulp hero, or the Nazis let loose a bunch of death balls as the Allies land or whatever. I love that kind of shit, man. That's great. That's why I love World War II, man. You guys just make it your own. Go crazy. Do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about the TONEs if you don't have to. The button counters don't really count because it's like, this is Stalingrad, 1945, dude. It's like whatever you say doesn't fucking matter because it never happened. I created it. Oh yeah, dude. So yeah, I play a shit ton of Pathfinder. I was a big 3.5 gamer, right? Those are all like pawns. Those are all pawns. And then those are like the maps. Everything's reversed in here, so it's hard for me to fucking. And then over here is all my books. I probably got maybe 70% of the entire Pathfinder run. So we were I got like a lot of pretty good shit. I used to be a 3.5 player, and back in the day, me and my buddies would chip in to buy the stuff because we're poor students and poor guys. And one of my buddies, when 3.5 went away, and Pathfinder was saying they're going to keep going with the 3.5, roughly the 3.5 rules. We gravitated towards that because we want but we let my buddy have most of the old 3.5. I kept a couple of them, but yeah, I just been playing Pathfinder since it started, since 3.5 went away. So yeah, I got a bunch of it. And it's like there's a lot of great systems out there, and I'm not besmirching any of them. the thing is that I have so much of it that I am not going to buy a new system. I got enough adventures and enough shit in here to like, last the rest of my life. And plus, like anything, you make it your own. So, so I'm not really worried about, the shortcomings of Pathfinder, which there are some. And, but you just play it a certain way and those disappear because you know what's fun and you know what isn't. I think this will look pretty good. Just keep doing a wash on them. I think they'll. Oh, Twilight 2000, dude! I had it all, man. We were huge Twilight 2000 players, bro. Huge. We have a Colonel Chicken. Oh shit! Let me plug in my computer. It's about to go dead. Shit! I thought it was plugged in. Come on. Hopefully, I'll get it in before the fucking computer dies on us. There we go. I think I got it in time. But yeah, oh yeah, the Cobra Death Wolves. I remember those. They were the shit, what were they? Not Vipers. I can't remember. I was a big G.I. Joe. That when in what 84, 85, 83, whenever G.I. Joe hit, I remember that day just exactly because I was at soccer practice and my mom was running late. So I was sitting around for like an hour after practice all alone in the soccer field, just sitting there. I remember a storm coming in. And she's like, she got there and she's like, I'm so sorry, baby. I got caught up in work. I'm like, that's so cool. And she's like, I'll make it up to you. I'll let you buy a comic at the store. I'm like, hell yeah. So I went in there and dude, G.I. Joe #1 from Marvel Comics was there. I'm like, what is this G.I. Joe? Because I was a big war book, fan. Holy shit, my life changed. I was Hannah's writing and oh my God, I was sold. So all my fucking Star Wars went away, got boxed up, got blown up, got burnt up or whatever. And it was G.I. Joe nonstop forever until I stopped playing with toys. It was great. Oh yeah, dude. Like in your game, man. It's like, so, you did your Halloween one, right? My games are all like that, dude. It's just like, you playing a story, you're playing a war game, but man, it's like reading a comic book or it's like watching a movie because I cannot stand just like an army maneuvering to each other to destroy each other or capture the widget or, whatever, the point in the battlefield. And I do not like playing with that. So I like stories and the mechanics that I use allow you to do anything that you want to do in the game. Anything. You can seduce somebody. You can wire up a booby trap in the middle of the game. You can do anything like that. It's just, and that's what I love. It's just like, I want to play like I'm like Sergeant Rock and Easy in one of the Army at Wars, or I want to play something like that. I want to play Eagle Where Eagles Dare, or The Eagle Has Landed. I want to do that kind of shit. I don't want to just like, all right, it's my turn to go forward. I'm just gonna run towards you. It's like, why am I moving forward to the enemy? I've got guns. Oh yeah, your guns only shoot 24 inches. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Shoot off the damn board. Anyway. But yeah, I do a lot of narrative gaming. I love narrative gaming. Everything else is just 40K. Gamma World, yeah. Yeah, shit. If Shadow's still on here, he was a big Gamma guy. He's a big Star Frontier guy. But yeah, Twilight 2000 was the shit. Vor, Battleground. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool. Oh, the NAM. Oh, man. Michael Golden's art was fucking epic. And when he left, the art sucked. But then towards the end, Kubert, Kubert's son came in, Kubert Jr. came in and gave it some love, like it should deserve. But the guy who wrote it, I cannot remember his name. He lives in Nam, and those are his stories. So it's like the stories were great, fantastic stories. I was a big Nam reader back in the day. I originally had. I read the Savage Tales. I had #1, the first appearance of the Nam, and oh, dude, I love the Nam. That was a great book. Sergeant Rock was the shit. That was well, Captain America was my all-time favorite superhero until the movie came out. Look, Chris Evans did a fantastic job as Cap, but I wasn't. I left comics when Civil War ended. I just that wasn't Cap. He didn't. Cap wouldn't have gone rogue. He wouldn't have done that shit. He would have fought the system. He's a Boy Scout. He would have fought the system the right way. But he wouldn't have gone rogue and started a fucking civil war and people dying, and he wouldn't have done that. But I love Brubaker and Epstein's writing when they rebooted Cap. I think they did a great job to modernize him. But I was a Golden Age Cap. I was I was a Silver Age Cap fan. But yeah, I don't know. It just lost the luster. But Sergeant Rock has always been my #2 or #1 character. I fucking love Rock. When Bruce Campbell did that new one, the Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead comic, that motherfucker never read Sergeant Rock. He got everybody wrong. It's a good read if you're not a Sergeant Rock fan because you wouldn't know, but that is not Rock in that book. Oh my God! It took you that long to watch Where Eagles Dare? Oh man, that's great, dude. Have you seen The Eagles Landed? Watch that one too. That's fantastic. That would make I think you did a battle report similar to that, didn't you? If you have it, you need to do a battle report of that. That would be awesome. Oh, right on, Bo. Good to see you, man. Yeah, there's even in Pathfinder, you can grapple and you can, do shit or whatever. A lot of people don't do that. They just hit, bash, shoot your arrows or your magic or whatever. And it's just there's so much you can do, but so few actually do that shit. One of my biggest beefs about miniature wargaming is it's not realistic. I mean, you don't do suppressive fire. You don't, a lot of let's say bolt action is the big thing in World War II, wargaming. When you miss with your mortars, the fucking round just vanishes. I mean, come on, dude. They have giant templates and they cause shrapnel radiuses for a reason because good enough is almost good enough. And and the grenades are non-existent. I mean, it just gives you a bonus to attack in close combat. Dude, that's just bullshit. Just dumbing everything down, making it just oversimplified, just dribble. And it's just dude, the guys were in the field using bazooka rounds to you could I mean, there's even in the bazooka training manuals and the training films, you could get a bazooka round, wire it, you could dig it into in the training film, they dig a hole in the side of this cliff, right? And they put a bazooka round in there, a rocket in there, and they wire it, and they're in the woods or whatever here. And when this vehicle drives by, they tip the connectors, and the rocket shoots in, boom, blows. I mean, it's shit like that. You can do that in my game. You can't do shit like in these other games. It's just ridiculous. Oh, and then the Punisher was my third favorite. I love me some Punisher. Castle was the shit. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the big cardinal sins is bringing Bucky back, but I think they did a pretty good job. If they were going to bring him back, that was probably the way to do it. Yeah, I wasn't a big now in my world. Sergeant Fury, was in World War II, a white guy who lost his eye, and I think it was shrapnel. Fighting Baron von Strucker against the Blitzkrieg squad and that kind of shit. It's not. And look, I like the Ultimates Fury too, but my Fury was a World War II guy. with the life model decoys and shit. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you guys, write your own systems, man. Write your own systems. It's the only way that you're going to play the way you want to. Really. Yeah, second edition finally has templates. I remember the first edition Bolt Action didn't have templates. I was like, what? What the fuck? Like, what are you thinking? That's true, man. Video game, like arcade games on the table. It's just like, and Bo, you talk about that. You talk about how role playing's become the players have made it into a fucking arcade game. It's not role playing. It's not this expansive universe that you can do anything. It's become get to the next battle scene, fight the enemy, get the points and the gear, and then move on to the next chapter. Yeah, it's just but you know what? Maybe people are so busy now that they don't have the time for that kind of shit. They gotta get their fix and get out. I'm just like, I might as well just play a video game for that. Yeah, the training video is fantastic. It's great. A group behind a group that was machine gun takes hits equal to the misses. Yeah, dude. So like, like in my game, with machine guns, there's a beaten zone, right? So like you're aiming at a target, it causes a 4-inch kind of cone to where it's going to land, and then it makes the cone back. So anything in that cone, the beaten zone is the intended target, right? Now, if you're doing plunging fire, if you're doing like suppressive fire, it'll just go straight, right? But if you're aiming at something, the bullet's beaten zone is the target. But like if you got troops in front of that shit or something moves in front of it or something like that, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get fucking hit by it. So it's like, you gotta be careful. It's just if you're shooting, you gotta be careful. Bullets hit, kill good guys and bad guys if you're not doing it right. Oh, dude, orcs are fantastic to game. I remember back in the day when they had that character, it's like their weapons were devastating if they worked. Only if they worked. And they often didn't work. And that usually blew up or they fly off the table or guys would fall off the vehicles or whatever it was. It was so fun, man. And the orcs just didn't give a shit. They just like haphazardly bolt shit on, and throw a squig at it, make it better, or whatever. The orcs were really cool. Yeah, I mean, that's true. See, plunging fire, I mean, shit. If there are things in the way and your machine gun can't, shoot through, you just you point that thing upward and you start arcing them. Plunging fire, dude. It's a real thing. Good stuff. It's good stuff. And those are real world tactics. It's like spraying, like a suppressive fire. Suppressive fire doesn't necessarily mean to kill shit. It's to keep shit from fucking moving or, keep it pinned down in a position or something like that. And that's what machine guns did, dude. The maneuvering elements would flank the enemy and then they would all come in and kill what they were shooting at. So, yeah. Orcs are Soviet mutants. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I could see orcs being. So when Panzerfaust came out, you guys remember Panzerfaust? It's kind of like a World War I / World War II fantasy, and they attached the classic fantasy races to like belligerents, like real world belligerents, and for some reason they put the orcs as the Brits. I'm like, what? I would think the orcs would be like the White Russians if World War I or Soviets in World War II. But it was so weird. Yeah, they're drying, dude. They're drying. Oh, dude, yeah. I'll be on that thing. One cool thing about being weird World War II, / World War II is like my need for shit is pretty narrow. It's like 1930 to 1950. Anything that doesn't fit in there, I won't use. And then it's like if it's not 28 to 32 millimeter, I don't use it. I don't need it. I don't buy it. And some of the the fantasy stuff will find its way in there, but a werewolf is a werewolf is a werewolf. So so I don't need like 15 different werewolves, or a vampire is a vampire. But so yeah, so everybody, did you say January? Mutt's gonna have his new painting challenge. Dude, I painted 100 and I think that at the very, very end, I painted like 108 or 110 minis total. That's a shit ton for me. That was awesome. I got a lot done, dude. And it was fun. Just every night we would do this. We'd all just kind of interact and we'd paint and whatever. So I had a lot of fun. It's like productive too. I got a question for you guys. What's a good black wash for like minis that I can like? Because I use like Army Builder, Army Painter like dip. I don't dip it, but I use that. But there's some minis that it doesn't work good with, and it's usually like white, right? So like I do a lot of white, and all I do is I just get a black and water it down. And although everything kind of turns gray and it looks okay, but it just, I don't know. But like I would rather have like a black wash that was pretty good than like using this craft paint shit, doing it that way. Because it's gonna look like it's gonna look dirty and shitty, but I guess that looks good too sometimes. I know a lot of you guys use like the new things, the new paints, and a lot of the paints that I used to use when I was doing my modeling aren't even around anymore. Like was it a hobby craft Guzman or Guzman? I used to love that shit. It's hard to find enamels nowadays. Most people don't use enamels. I love fucking enamels. I mean, they can get stinky or whatever, but they seem to coat better, keep a coat better. A lot of this, some of this like acrylic stuff just doesn't coat well. My game is a sandbox. Hell yeah, dude. You're 5 minutes behind the chat? Damn. That's weird. Null oil is all right. Oh, who makes that? Oil washes. I don't think I've done an oil wash. I mean, I've done like enamel washes, like just throw some like paint thinner in a black or something. I've done that. The new Nolan oil sub I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, I use mostly Vallejo. Yeah, there's one Testors that I cannot live without is the rust. Testors rust is like epic. Man, there's no better rust color than that one that I've. That's some good shit. Too bad Testors is like pretty much off the board now. They like aren't producing any like model shit really anymore. Their model paint lines have all like gone to the wind. Man, their damn flat lacquer is. I don't think they're producing that anymore. So it's like, no, that shit was awesome. That was the best. Citadel, okay. Citadel's so damn expensive. GW Nolan oil has been a long time standard, but I would avoid it for white. It's too thick and dark. Yeah. I mean, can you thin it? Like just water, right? It's an enamel or it's a acrylic. Nolan. All right, no, I'm gonna write this shit down right here. I got my pen. Got my post-it note. Null in oil. All right, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna find that shit and try it. If it's shit, I know where you live. I don't really. So you're safe. Runic gray speed paint from Vallejo thin down works as good. Oh, okay. I thought about doing a gray, but I don't know. I mean, thin down black on white usually just turns it gray anyway. Oh yeah, the old snap tight one. Oh my god! Almost anything. You're pretty safe to conclude that anything snapped together is shit, but it's usually cheap. So I saw some 148 World War II aircraft kits up at Hobby Lobby for like nothing, like $10 that were snapped together. They look pretty good. They're pre-paints. I'm like, damn, I might pick up one of these. That'd be kind of cool. Thin oils with odorless mineral. Yeah, mineral spirits I usually use for if I'm using enamels in my airbrush, I'll use mineral spirits too. I use alcohol for my acrylics when I use my airbrush. I don't use water. I use alcohol. A second runic gray or AP ashen stone for washes. Oh, okay. I'll check. Write those down. Runic gray. Runic gray. Ashen. Who comes up with these names? Ashen stone. Ooh, ashen stone. It sounds like a emo rocker or something. I'm ashen stone. Yeah, I heard you. Null in. I gotcha. What? It's like none, yeah. With the L in it. I'm a Gen Xer too. That's true. Sometimes it's like whatever you got, that'll do. I've seen there's a game castle down here that uses that carries the AK line. Never used it. I, I don't know. Are paints really that much different from paint? I guess they are. I don't know. So you use the AK stuff? Man, I don't even. It's rare that I even primer guys. I don't. I mean, if I'm like coloring something like yellow or something that needs like a color, like I'll primer it white. But other than that, guys, I just paint on bare metal or bare plastic. I really do. I don't really do primers. Vallejo seems to go on really well. I mean, the pigments are really good, and they stick really well. So I don't know. It just seems like a step that isn't needed a lot of times, and I don't do it. Oh, hey, nerd! I was going to ask you. I 3D printed your German cart. This thing looks massive. Did they have like a giant cart? Because the carts I'm thinking of are the smaller ones that just hold like ammo boxes. But this has like fucking rockets in it. Is this a real size? Did they have like a jumbo size trailer? Because I don't remember seeing. Did they have like a jumbo size trailer? Because I don't remember seeing the jumbo size trailer. It probably is. But I mean, I'm talking to. I'm talking to the nerd's nerd. She knows her shit. But I don't remember a trailer being that big. But anyway, it's a cool trailer, guys. Check it out. It's got all this like detail in it. It's got, like rockets and like AAA like ammo magazines and all sorts of shit in there. Some Panzerfaust and Ammo boxes. Those ammo boxes aren't well. There's some MG ammo boxes. Some of them are like anti-aircraft, and you got a bunch of shit in there. It's pretty good. Pretty good detail there, nerd. But it just looks big. Just looks giant. I didn't change the size or anything. Yeah, there might be a big. I just remember, like the trailers behind the Krups and all that stuff that were had the AA mounts and shit on them or whatever. They just seem smaller, but it might just be a bigger version of it. Dude, if you guys haven't seen Nerds STLs, you go check it out. Go to Colts and look up a Nerd's Nerd. She's like famous. She's like famous. Then she's famous in the RP community too because she made Hungar one of the mainstays of the crazy bastards in role playing on the net. She made a cool Hungar figure. Free because she's awesome. If you want a cool barbarian / Santa Claus with glasses, there you go. It's a great sculpt, girl. Great kit bash or whatever it was. It was great. I found so like on Colts. I've been just like perusing Colts for this whole week. I've been like bookmarking shit, download when I get some money or whatever. And I found some slave girls that some of Hungar's slave girls. I was gonna print those up and put them in my diorama for him. So it should be pretty good. Up and put them in my diorama for him. So it should be pretty good. Automotive paint. I've heard that automotive primer. Yeah, it seems big. I mean, it doesn't seem like it looks like, the ammo crates and everything that you got in there they look legit, but the trailer just looks big. There could just be an oversized trailer that I don't remember. Remember the trailers being maybe half the size of this. But again, shit. I haven't seen everything. You graze zenithal and then dry brush. Everybody loves that zenithal shit. Everybody talks about it. Zenithal this, zenithal that, zenithal. Yeah, I mean, it looks like those trailers that you see that like the prime movers are using. But it's just like, I mean, like here's a 148 aircraft. That thing looks giant. Looks fucking giant. I'm not bashing you, nerd. I'm just saying there might be a large scale trailer that I just don't remember seeing. You need a 3D printer. 3D printer to all those people who don't have 3D printers. Get a 3D printer. You'll change your world. I'm telling you. I just nerd guided me. I had to get some more resin, and I had the like washable resin, and it's just brittle, guys. I mean, it probably worked good for like big, chunk thing, maybe terrain that's just there's no little bits hanging out to be broken off. But man, it's so brittle, and it's just like some of the stuff I printed up. It's like I did like a motorcycle, right? And all the little dude, I have to like be super careful. And then like even if I have it, even when I paint it up, it's so rigid and brittle that I'm afraid of moving about. You need some stuff. She got me some of the more like hardcore resin stuff, so I'm gonna try that out. I should get it tomorrow. Oh, you got Yak Tiger? Sweet. Oh, that's cool. Very good. Oh yeah, Bronze Age minis has some great stuff. If you guys are big, they do a John Carter line too. I want to say that are awesome. If I'm thinking of the same company, yeah. He had trying to think. He had a famous sculptor do a bunch of his shit. I can't remember who it was though. Hell yeah, it is metal, metal, metal. We'll have a. Oh yeah, Black Friday sale. Yeah, man. I mean, I dig this. Oh, hey, real quick, nerd. If you get into print and you run out of like resin, will it screw up anything? I think I have enough. I have something printed right now, but I wasn't sure. It looks like there's enough resin in there, but I wasn't sure. So, will it jack anything up if it just doesn't have any resin left in it? Let me look at that too. By the way, I think it has plenty. There's enough in there. It's still good. I'm still paranoid or whatever. Oh no! Well, I mean, it won't jack up the machine, will it? It'll just mess up the print. Oh, it's in your neighborhood? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, dude. Okay, cool. Really? I mean, it just pours out from what the one I have. There is some cleaning element to it, I guess, but it didn't have too much of a problem with it. Oh yeah, I remember Waffen Kammer. I remember him. I remember for the longest time he was promising 148 kitten APC models, like forever. And he finally got around to doing one. It was 156. I'm like, fuck. And then it was like, then now you can get that stuff. Man, for the longest time, that's what everybody was wanting as a 148 kitten or a kitten just in general. But now you can get them all over for free. And some Nerd does a kitten APC on her thing, the kitchen or whatever they call it. The Germans call it. Oh, okay. So it is a little bit bigger. Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, I'll just say it's it's Weird War. It's just a big cart. It's a bigger cart. But yeah, there you go. See, we got to help each other out. Waffenkramer. What's that mean? Waffenkramer? I don't know. Is that how you say it? Oh, okay. Duh. Oh yeah, I remember he did that tank. It's so funny. Just 5 years ago, a lot of these vehicles were just impossible to find. Now you can get them free. Nerd does most of them for free online, and it's just like it really opens up a whole new world to like shit, man. If I want to, Yog Tiger, I'll go to Nerd's site and download the STL for free because she's fucking awesome. And then I'll take a couple hours to print, a few hours to print. Booyah! You got a fucking Yog Tiger ready to rock, and you can size it however you want. If you're playing 15 mil and hers is a 148, you just downsize it. If you wanted a 135, you'll up it. Whatever you want to do. Man, it's just blowing my mind. It's like the golden age. It's fantastic. Okay, let me get you to Nerd's her account here. The site is called let me see, profile. Who am I following? Let me just find one of her. There we go. Let's see here. A nudge, no. You got 93 there already, girl. That's a bunch. Okay, so I put the link here for a Nerd's Nerd, her badass Colts account, or because for some reason it's got to be me. You can't put your own links up here. YouTube thinks it's evil. So cool. Yeah, you guys, Nerd's Nerd. She's fucking awesome, and she knows her shit. Except she's 16% out of whack on her trailers. I don't know. I'm just fucking with you, girl. But yeah, and so it's straight historical and Weird War. So like she's a big Dust fan, right? So she's got like, she has upgrades and it just comes with it. I mean, you don't have to download all the like but she got like rail guns and laser cannons for like, pretty much everything. Um and she was awesome. It was like BA 64. I'm like, hey, did you ever do a light machine gun turret? Right? And she's like, oh yeah, give me 2 minutes. And she's like, boom, she did a fucking turret. I'm like, sweet, thank you. What? Your nerd credit score? Oh, it's all good. It's only 16%. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. Yeah, you were telling me about that that one guy I put on the link. You said like his stuff is really cool looking, but I guess it's like the thin walls and stuff, the construct. See, I didn't even think of that shit. It's like, oh, cool, look at that. But I guess like in anything, there's a level of like complexity about it that you don't think about. Like when they design the thing, they got to make sure that when you print it, it's like when you don't touch it, it collapses, or it's proportion or whatever the fuck. So it's pretty cool. I'd like to learn how to do all this shit, like make stuff. I don't know what I'd make. Everybody's making it already. Oh, yeah, she does have the BTR 50. Yeah. Oh, it's not printable. Okay. Does he update them or anything? Like if you pointed that out? Yeah, like there's a website called 3D Wargaming, I think is what it's called. And a lot of those guys, like that's more like a way station for people to sell like their mini lines in STL. So it can get pricey, but I've seen some of that stuff looks okay. One of our sponsors, Coveted Forge, one of their guys, I can't remember his name. It's like Kamo Mako Nachi or whatever. He does some like World War II STL. Like you can print it from Coveted Forge. It's pretty cheap. But his stuff is great, but it's like war game size. They're kind of bulky and they look. I had some here, but he does a lot of weird World War II stuff, like Japanese like in power armor, like these cool like samurai suits and all sorts of cool shit. I just picked up a whole like a squad of Soviet paratroopers, which you don't see very. They got kind of like the almost like the little tank, kind of like the leather flight helmet type things on their face. It's pretty cool. I really like that guy's stuff. What a douche. He says, "Shut up! Don't ask for anything else." That's kind of defeats the purpose of like, because it's like he if it's free shit, if you print up his free shit and it's all jacked up, you're not gonna buy any of it if it's jacked up too. Shit. I was eyeballing his. That's what. Do you do a? I seriously need like the vampire IR system where I can like maybe just mount like maybe on some sort of like clear base and just put it on a tank saying, yeah, that's got the IR on it. Not like glue it down or anything. But like just the cupola with the IR system in it. That'd be sweet. Yeah, I guess talk to nerd with that because sometimes like depending on the scale that they made the file for, like if it's a big scale it probably downsize well, but if it like it was a small scale and you're upsizing it probably lose detail and shit. I'm not sure about all that stuff. Yeah, the VDV, the soft helmet things. Yeah, those are cool. Oh yeah, Empress. Empress is great. I love. I need to buy a bunch of their Spanish Civil War stuff. Hell yeah! Take that shit. Make it better. You can improve it. We can make it better. We have the technology. Oh yeah. So the vampire. Yeah, because like even like so like in World War II. Well, actually, it's more like fucking Korea. But the Allies started using the giant IR searchlights, right? Like you see them in like the M60s and the Pattons or whatever fuck. But like, if we can make some of those, like put them on Shermans and like M4s and stick them on Cromwells and shit, that'd be cool. Giant IR spotlight on like the 60s and 50s stuff look like. Because I have rules for the IR stuff in my game, which is cool if it's like one side has the IR, right? It's fantastic. But when they both have IR, it's just like giant searchlights looking at each other and they just shoot at each other. So it's like shit. It's kind of like the whole edge. Like, yeah, I got this edge. My troops have IR scopes on them. Well, so do mine. I don't have my spotlight on. I'm just using my imager, and you're walking around with a giant flashlight, just shooting your ass. So double-edged sword if both belligerents have it. The one cool thing about that is like range. So like if you're playing like if you got infantry based IR, the spotlight doesn't go very far, right? So your imager doesn't pick up, but like it could see like flashlights moving around or something in the distance. But when you got the vehicle IR, the big giant spotlights, that goes really far. That can illuminate a lot of shit. Large blue box right there. There. Let me get that. That is a Franklin. Those are two Franklin Mint die-cast JU-52s. That's a die-cast 1/48 scale JU-52, man. Got two of them. They weigh a ton. They're fantastic. So like I picked these up for like $50 a pop. There was like some hobby shop was going out of business, and he was selling a bunch of his stuff for like nothing. And he had like those left, and I'm like, dude, how much are those? He didn't have a price on them. I'm like, how much are those? Like, I don't know how much you want for them. $50 a pop. All right, they're yours. They are fucking. They weigh probably like 3 or 4 pounds. They're great. But yeah, so Franklin Mint did a shit ton of like die cast aircraft in 148. So like keep a look at, and they're pretty tough too. I mean, you can't throw them on the ground and shit, but they're pretty rugged, and all the parts move, and it's pretty sweet. Those didn't turn out too bad. I mean, they're dirty, but I can. It's funny. So I was looking at like how these like badass, modelers, and they're getting like, they're using like acrylics bigger. They're probably like, well, no, they're probably 148 to be honest with you. But they're like putting it on all the seams, and then they'll come back and they'll get their paint thinner, and they'll just slowly wipe it off, and it's like a perfect line of detail. I'm like, fucking, it's like awesome. Why don't I have that skill? Oh yeah. So like at one time I was gonna buy like a JU-52 and paint it up because I use them because I play that airbase game, and those are on the field, right? They're just like parked or whatever. And I got a couple of dust aircraft. There's like VTOL German dust airplanes, so that put on that field too. It's a big table. They'll do like a double table. It's massive, but and it's covered in like buildings and fuel trucks and aircraft, and each, and it's funny because each one of those Quinzen huts are specific. It's like you don't know. Like I give a map to like the German player, and these are where the troops start in. Like this is a barracks. This is this is the movie theater. This is the hospital. This is the radio room. This is the generator. So when the Americans come to the game, they don't know. So there's signs. It's like if you want to take out the radio room, you look for the Quinzen hut that has the antennas sticking out of it. And then like the generator room is obviously going to make sound and noise. It might have like oil and gas cans around it or whatever, and shit like that. So you bust into this room thinking it's like full of Germans, but no, guess what? It's the storage. It's the cold, the food storage. So you just broke into their pantry. It's the building next door. They're all coming out to blow you to hell. So it's a lot of fun. So there's that role playing element. It's like the Germans start off in the barracks, but the Americans don't know. So if the Americans are setting up for an ambush or setting up to protect whatever, they don't know which fucking room. They don't know which structure. They don't know which one's which. So it comes a lot of like sneaking around for a little bit until that one guy comes out to take go to the bath to the head, and he walks into a squad of rangers, and they're like, oh shit, everybody starts blowing away at each other. Yeah, dude, shit, man. It's so funny because no one plays World War II where I'm at. Nobody. Omen, he's more of a role player. He'll play every once in a while, because he just wants to do some gaming. But like, there's no dedicated war gamers around here that play Weird War, and it sucks. Well, because he just wants to do some gaming. But like, there's no dedicated war gamers around here that play Weird War, and it sucks, man. Because I'm part of a bunch of these like these like Central Texas Gaming Club and all this shit. None of them want to do anything that I want to do. They all doing the same shit. They're all doing bolt action and 40K, and they don't want to do anything really. They'll do like historical shit, but Weird War, no. It's like the bastard child of wargaming. But that's all right. That's why I go to cons, man. I put on shows, so like, if no one's gonna do what I want to play, I'll just host and let people play it, and they all always have a great time. So, but yeah, that's always the hardest thing is coming up with people to play with. That's all. I think that's always been the biggest bane for gamers is finding someone to game with. Although that the internet allows us all to like interact like this and hang out and talk about our shit or whatever, but as a war gamer, you can't really play it. So unless you connect with somebody in the area, those don't look too bad. Put some stickers on there, then I'll dry brush them silver. Should be pretty good. And plus, these things are scenery anyway, so it's no big deal. It's so weird. It doesn't take, whatever mechanic that you use, bolt action, you could just like, for you to do this, you need to make a leadership test. That's it. Or if it's hard to do, then it's half a leadership test. There you go. That's fucking it. That's that easy. You can do a whole bunch of role playing just using their leadership modifier thing. It doesn't take much. It's just, I don't know, is it me or it sounds like you guys make rules what you want, right? It doesn't seem like you guys are like advocating for purist rule, following the rules. Every rule system I've ever played, I've always modified. Be it simplicity or to make it more complex, to do something else or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've done online like gaming. It's hard because I mean, first of all, dude, I have a handheld camera like that you guys are watching that's tethered to my computer. So it's like, I would like have to get my laptop here and then like hold the tripod. I don't have the tech for it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, uh, Pulp Alley does a really good every Sunday. They have a pulp game. They do a really because they play a game of Pulp Alley every Sunday with people online, and they do a really good job. Um, so if you wanted to try that on your channel, that might be someone to go check out and see how they do it because they do it fantastic. And they every game it's someone online and they just say, okay, I want to go this way, and he's like, okay, and he does it. And he's got a couple cameras that he can click to, and it shows a close up. And I've played a couple live games with Dave and Bessie. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's true. It's like, especially if you play role playing games, it's like most of the games that I've ever role played with, it's just a framework. It's not, we don't follow it like, you know, religiously because when you do something like that, that's when those fuckers come up and they break it. They break down the system and they manipulate it and they min max and it just becomes like it's not a game about it's tactics or strategy. It's a game about the manipulation of the army lists and the rules manipulation, and it's just like no, nope. And as a DM, playing Pathfinder, Pathfinders got to the point where you could like make god characters by using feats and all that kind of shit and like manipulate it to where they can just. I'm like, no, you can't do that, dude. What the fuck? I'm like, sorry, man. It's just can't do that. It's too powerful. He's like, well, that's bullshit. I'm like, okay, well, that's not the table for you then. you know? Yeah, I mean, it's the GM or the DM's game. It's their table, and they set the rules and the world. And you could grow and breathe from it, and you can put your own into it. But ultimately, it's like it's their thing. And if you're, being a shyster and manipulating it to a degree to like, be some god, that's not what it's about, man. I think that's a problem with a lot of role playing is that you forget about to role play. You forget how to role play. You get caught up in the combat or the monies, and you forgot like, why are we here? What are we doing? Why would I be doing this? Why am I here? But yeah, Munchkins. That's a pretty fun game, Munchkins. Munchkin. Oh my god, tournament. So like in second edition, I played Rogue Trader in second edition 40K. And when second edition came around, that's when they started doing the tournaments and shit, right? And I played a few tournaments and I won one, but yeah, dude, it was bullshit. These guys were like pissed and like angry and that's bullshit. That's fucking cheating. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? We're just gaming. Yeah, it's a whole nother world with the tournament play. And unfortunately, everything seems to be in a tournament style. You know what I mean? It's like army list. Everything seems to be in a tournament style. You know what I mean? It's like army lists and special rules. Look, like in bolt action, there should be no fucking special rules other than like this weapon shot faster because it just did. You know what I mean? Or like the TONE allowed for 2 light machine guns in a squad in this era instead of 1, or whatever it might be. There wasn't like, oh, only the British can have free artillery fire. I was like, what the fuck? what? Where does that even come into play? It's just insane. And then battle tactics, like there might be like the Japanese would charge, the Chinese would like charges, the Soviets would do these charges, right? But they often were, it was either glory or death. But I don't know. I don't like special rules. Unless it's supernatural, like weird World War II. It's like, oh my god, guess what? The Germans have fucking zombies because they're bastards and they're reanimating their fallen comrades, and then the enemy. They're reanimating the enemy too, so they don't give a shit. Put something in like superheroes or something like that's cool, but like a bolt action rifle is a bolt action rifle. Just because you have like special training doesn't allow you to shoot more than I don't know. That's just dumb. But that's that whole tournament thing. It's like, oh, we got to make this army special, or no one will play it. Well, no, I'm like that's not true because people will play it because it looks cool, Or if it's like a historical thing, they'll play it because it's the nation that they like, it's the uniforms that they like, or whatever the fuck. So I don't know. It just everything's a tournament play, and everything's got to be balanced. It's like nothing's balanced. War's never been fair. It's just weird. I never liked the tournament style play. Well, I mean, there's times when the GM has to act in a certain way, like they have to pop shit up, put some sort of element in there to not necessarily to make the people do what they want to do, but you gotta play the players. If it's just like they're just walking around in a forest and nothing. Yes, but tournament gaming ruined the hobby, in my opinion. I take that back. The prices ruined the fucking hobby, and then the tournament, the style of play ruined the hobby. Man, I don't know. Everybody says, "Oh, it's easy. You can just walk into a store, and there's someone there playing, and you play." Well, I mean, okay, I guess that's true, but how many people walk into a game store? First of all, how many game stores are there anymore? But let alone walk into a game store with an army and say, "Hey, anybody want to play?" That's rare. It's usually people go up there and for the purpose of like playing with somebody, so they prearrange somebody else. Anyway, I don't know if that's your rationale why you need that kind of system. Then I don't think that holds water too much. Ah, look at you, nerd. You're the best. Good job, girl. Yeah, I mean, I remember there was a couple different sized trailers, but yeah, this one just looked bigger. Yeah, scenarios just make more sense too. I mean, there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. Hell yeah, Stargates. Every game should have a Stargate at least once in its game. It's true. GMs help facilitate, yeah, blind play. Yep. Quantum Leap. Hell yeah. I remember that one where he like teleport like right. He's like a special forces doing Nom. He's like in a firefight. He just like appears in a firefight. He's like, oh shit. That's a great movie. See, Mutt's a weirdo. He just didn't know it. I think that's the natural progression. You either have like you have the diehards. Well, they won't call it Weird War. They'll call it alternative history, or they'll do some kind of like, it's not Weird War. It's alternative history. We are gonna. No, dude, you're changing history. That means it's fucking weird. Sorry. I mean, it doesn't have to be zombies. When like in my Weird War tour, it doesn't have to be zombies and monsters. It could just be like Operation, Sea Lion, or you know, Stalingrad didn't hold and they're moving further, east or whatever. So it's like, yeah, it's funny. I'm telling you, Mutt, you need to find some cons there's got to be cons in your area, dude. Host some of your zombie side, meet some buddies, start a live thing going on in your world. You are the mini war mutt, dude. You're like a legend. You're famous. Oh no, yeah, shit, yeah. Being another play, yeah, the DM or GM are never just another player. Holy shit. We've all been there. We've all spent those days designing, this world and this story and this epic adventure. And you know what? The party turns right instead of left, and all that shit out the door. Yeah, trust me. I know where you're at, man. And then just holding everybody together, giving them something to do, and a story that's engaging and entertaining, and it ain't easy because you have a divergent group of folks. It's always the case. Some of them, you know, get offended, or some of them don't like the style of play, or they don't like the world they're in, or whatever. And people bow out because of real life. And yeah, dude, and you put all that time, effort, and money into that shit, dude. It's rough. It can be rough being a GM. That's right. Oh, so Bo, someone took that line. I ran into some other gaming channel, and they said the exact same thing. A face for radio and a voice for print. I'm like, hey, you can't have that. That's Bo's. Mutants and aliens and modern tech. That's cool. God, who was that guy? Turtle Dove. He did a bunch of books. Those books are awful. I'm sorry. If you're a big the technology is like the technology that we have now, kind of shit or something. I don't know. I didn't even get through that first book. I got halfway through. I'm just like, good Lord. This is not me. This is not he is not the best writer in the world. He did a shit ton of books, man. He's like famous for all that shit. I don't know why. I was a big Harold Coyle fan. You guys ever? He wrote Team Yankee. That's what he's most famous for. But Bright Star and the 10,000, man, those are fucking great books. There was the other guy. He did Red Army, which is like a fictitious like invasion of Western Europe by the Soviets. Man, that was a really good fucking book. Harry Turtle, though, that's it. Yeah, I just never was a fan. Just his writing is just it's hard to read. It's just not entertaining reading. Not necessarily the content, but like I'm not a big fan of the content, but just like how he writes is just like I don't know. I just didn't get into it. I just couldn't do it. I read the first book like halfway, three fourths all the way through, and I was just done. I just like, and then like he wrote like 50 books. I'm like, what? Really? I don't know. The Men Who Stare at Goats. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Oh yeah. The CIA was doing that. The KGB shit was doing that. And even in World War II, or even before World War II, the Soviets were saying they could like splice like simians with humans and try to make some sort of like bestial like warrior. And you have the evil fuckers at like Unit 729 or whatever, the Japanese bastards doing awful things to the Chinese. My God, dude. Horrible shit. And then like all the crazy experiments the Nazis were doing, and hell, even the Americans were, doing crazy shit. I mean, it was just like the desperation of war, like total war. And it was just like anything fucking goes. If you got an idea that's gonna kill the enemy, let's run with it. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, yeah, I remember the movie being silly. It is. It's like a comedy. Isn't the movie a comedy? I've seen the movie. I mean, I've watched some of those declassified, interviews and shit of the CIA interviews, and then like the acid interviews. Remember they gave a housewife like some acid and shit. She's like, "How do you feel, man?" She's like, "Oh, I feel great. I want to lick your face." It's fucking great. Yeah, but crazy shit, crazy stuff. But yeah, World War II. I mean, again, you don't have to go full blown. You never go 100% weird. But you can just do those, like alternative history things. If you don't want to get balls deep into like some crazy zombies and all that kind of stuff, you can just tweak some army units. Maybe advance some tech. By a couple years, like, hey, the Germans are all carrying MP-44s in 43. The STG 43s, the mass produced. Hitler said they were cool instead of not liking them, or whatever the hell the story is of that. They used the ME-262 as a fighter, instead of like an interceptor, some shit, or whatever. Or, the Americans and the Brits were mass producing jets instead of props. And then there was that third wave in Pearl, where they found the carriers and they bypassed Pearl altogether and they hit the carriers instead. Hell, whatever, all sorts of cool. Wake Island held. You can go crazy on the what ifs. Oh yeah, Pineapple Express. God. I watched those guys, man. They're fucking crazy. What is it? This is the end or whatever. It was basically like they all played themselves, like in the movie. It's like the end of the world, and there's like demons and shit. And it was kind of funny. I'm not a big fan of some of those guys, but it was a pretty funny movie. If you're not into like crude humor, don't watch it. But it was kind of silly. It was funny. Oh, the classic. Was that number 11 Blade? I think it was number 11 or number 7. I always forget what Blade the exact. I think it's 11. Yeah, 11. The classic Exacto Blade. I just poked myself the other day. Remember one time, you guys ever have a hobby injury? Remember one time I was doing something and I like gouged my fucking hand and like cut like a couple inches. And that shit just went, just started gushing. That was relatively young. I passed the fuck out. The only time I ever passed out, dude. I'm like, Mom, boom, I just passed out. She's like, oh my God. Yeah, that was a pretty bad one. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that was a pretty bad one. Yeah, that was pretty stupid. Being in a bomber. I mean, they should have been like taking out the bombers and be a fighter and all that shit. It should have used its speed to kick ass, not the bomb shit. But armchair generals. It's easier to say, what they should have done. 70 years later, 80 years later. Yeah, I probably need to go. We're 2 hours in. Hey, I appreciate everybody coming out. Man, you shoveling snow, huh? It's 72 degrees out here, down here in Texas right now. But hey, I appreciate everybody coming out. Nerd, HS, Bo, Joe, Mutt, Shadow, everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. Chuck, Charles, all you guys coming out. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Should be finishing up that weird World War II Halloween game tomorrow. So hopefully I'll get a battle report in. As the people that suggested a Weird War thing in the game got in the game. Bo did a pretty kick-ass pivotal thing. So, Bo, you get a kick out what you do. But I think, Mutt, you're in there. What did you? Oh, yeah, you're the Red Skull, right? Yeah, Mutt's sitting in the background, waiting for letting everybody else get killed. And he's just in the back like, I can get the hell out of here. I'm not a superhero. But all right, guys, whatever you do in this crazy mixed up world, go check out Nerds Cult link. It's in the description for all our cool ass shit. And you keep it weird. Take it easy. Talk to you guys later.